All right. So it's raining, and I am sitting outside listening to the rain, experiencing it from an alcove where I'm not getting wet. It's actually pretty damn cool. It's awesome. I had an epiphany earlier today. I'm sorry if the randomness and the back and forth seems a little weird for me. It is currently 9:22 at night, and I am actually awake, conscious. This is the best part of the day for me. But 9 times out of 10, due to circumstance or whatever, I actually can't just sit down and record a video because I'm never alone, and I'm not going to talk about shit with people around. And even if I am alone, I'm usually, in a tent in the woods, or starting in about a month in a church basement, sleeping on a bed with a bunch of fuckers around. So, pardon me. So, this is one of the few chances I actually have to sit and actually be conscious and awake, and the fact that it's raining just makes everything better for me, because I love rain. Not so much when it's raining on me, but for the most part I love rain. It's actually getting heavier. I like that. Still not coming this way, though. It's not coming in here. You can probably hear it just fine now. But anyway, I had an epiphany earlier, about half an hour ago. I actually had 2 right in a row. And the first one is this. We talk as... several of my friends and I have discussed how autumn, the season that officially begins in 2 weeks, 15 days, something like that. Autumn is probably the best season there is. It's cool, temperature-wise. It's you don't feel like you're gonna burn to death every time you step outside. The sights, trees starting to change color, lose their leaves. Apple cider and donuts. That's my favorite thing. And just everything about fall, everything about autumn is amazing, and I love it. And the epiphany I had is that everything about fall that makes it cool, like well, not everything, but a lot of it, like leaves changing color and falling off, the temperature's getting colder. That's a sign of things dying. It's a cycle of death and rebirth that powers the entire, world, and if not for that cycle, we would not be. I get that. But still, I worry sometimes that I'm too focused on death. I mean, I am extremely depressed. Have been for years. It's gotten worse over the past year, as I detailed in my last video, which was just yesterday. But that said, I do worry that I'm too focused on death, that I pay attention to it more, that I look for it, that I talk about it, that I think about it too much, more than is healthy, and that's probably true. But that part that goes directly into the second part of the epiphany that I had, and that's that doesn't really matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter that, leaves falling means they're dying, means the trees are dying, going dormant for a year. It doesn't matter that the coming snow is going to blanket everything and effectively kill off all the grass for the next year. That doesn't matter, because the simple fact is, the reason I like fall is the reason I like fall. And just because it also has something to do with, death, doesn't change a damn thing. At least not for me. I am getting tired of this lifestyle, this, constant grind of either choose to stay awake and deprive myself of sleep to the point where last couple of weeks I was only getting an average of 3 or 4 hours a night on the weekends. or you know, try to hustle my way back to my tent and sleep in the woods and hope to God that nobody saw me enter or leave the previous morning. Hope to hell that I'm not going to get woken up in the middle of the night by a cop, because that's a real possibility. I've already had to change sites 3 times, and they were all within the first month and a week actually of doing this. And where I've been since the first week of June. But that doesn't mean anything, because any day, especially now that the leaves are falling and it's easier to see through the grove of trees that I'm in, I could get woken up by a cop any day. And I've accepted this, but I'm getting tired of it. I really am. And come October 1st, I get to go back to the church sites every day. But going back to the church sites means dealing with the drunks, and I don't have the patience for it. I don't. Last year I almost got into a couple of fights because people accused me of doing shit that I would never do. And and then there's the other part. There's a guy named Jose, and I've been nice to him. I've been nice to him probably far longer than I should have been. I should not have given him as much chances as I have. Basically, every time he speaks to me, it infuriates me, because he just yesterday, we were having a conversation about, and somehow the separation of church and state was brought up. I don't know why. I never know why. But separation of church and state was brought up, and so we talk about it. And I made the point that the Treaty of Tripoli in 1797 expressly stated that there is no foundation of, the United States is not a Christian nation, it is a secular nation. Whether it is based on values espoused by Christians or not is irrelevant, wholly and completely. But he brought up something, the Treaty of Paris, which officially ended the Revolutionary War, and it begins with, in the name of the August and Holy Trinity, or some shit like that. I didn't really pay attention. I know it's in the name of the Holy Trinity, because it was an Anglican thing. And I'm trying to figure out the relevance. I really am. Because, okay, so it says in the name of. In the name of does not mean this nation is founded on these principles. This is not a Christian nation. This is a secular nation, and I think it's just fine like that. Of course I do. But it's just frustrating. And I know that, if I have to see him tomorrow, Sunday night, at the other weekly gathering that we go to, he'll probably want to talk about religion and maybe politics some more. He's pretty keen on talking about religion, even though I'm an avowed atheist, and I've been telling him for almost 6 months now to open his eyes and read the goddamn Bible, because it is, there's so much wrong with it. It's directly contradictory. I should not have to tell people this. They should figure it out by reading it. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to get, belligerent about that. It's just that's one thing that bothers me. I'm sure I can think of something else to talk about, but I don't want to have to cut the videos together, and it'll take me too long to do that. So, I may record a second video tonight if I feel like it. I may not. Who knows? Until then, have a nice day.